All right, the Leica Q3 in 2026. I think this is as close to perfect as it's gonna get for content creation. Let's get right into it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Leica Q3. Now this has been out for a while. I've had this camera for a while, but the latest firmware update 4.0, this thing finally works as a content creation powerhouse, and we're gonna talk about why. First of all, if you're not familiar with the Leica Q3, or maybe you are, that's why you clicked this video, tiny, compact, fixed lens camera from Leica. I have the 28mm version with an f1.7 Summilux lens. Absolutely beautiful, amazing camera for photography, which is my primary use case, or it was my primary use case for most of 2025. One, because obviously you can see ultra compact, 61, 62 megapixel sensor, beautiful colors right out of camera. And again, this is just a gorgeous camera overall. It is probably one of the more popular compact cameras of 2025. The Q2 was wildly popular in 23 and 24 until they launched this. And then they also released the Q3 43, which I haven't used. Still beautiful. I prefer 28mm for travel content photography. And now with the latest firmware, video on this is even better. And I'll say that with a caveat. This already had really powerful video capabilities built into it. And I think Leica was creating this for more of a hybrid shooter when they did the update, right? We have the beautiful fold-out screen, different viewing angles, which is fantastic. 8K video, 4K up to 120 frames per second. You also get iLog support, improved autofocus, all that good stuff when it initially came out. Now the problem is there are just a lot of quirks as a content creator when it came to the video features. Now, regardless of the powerful sensor and like the 8K, 4K, 120, different frame rates, different codecs, this thing didn't support audio when it initially launched. The onboard mics were garbage, and then you couldn't use a USB-C like transmitter and receiver and use any of the DJI mics or any wireless mic. They did an update earlier in the year where yes, you could plug in USB-C microphones, so your mic 3s, your mic 2s, mic minis, or whatever mic you're using, as long as you got a USB-C receiver, you could plug that in and use this camera and get professional audio. Downside with that is once you plug this in, you couldn't actually use the Leica Photos app to remote monitor and control the camera. As a content creator, if I'm filming any type of talking head stuff, this fold-out screen doesn't actually flip out so that I can see what's happening on the screen. I would rely on the Leica Photos app, but if I wanted high quality audio and the camera was a little farther away, absolutely no way to see if I was in frame, if I was in focus. And with the latest firmware update, they finally changed that. So I won't go through all the details of the firmware update, just the really big one that matters to me. They did improve overall autofocus. They've added some AI models that have improved just like eye detection, face detection, animal. That has been vastly improved. And now you do have a lot more autofocus settings, especially because it works relatively well in the continuous autofocus setting, which is what I would rely on if I'm filming myself or anything when it comes to video. The second biggest thing that they did is now when I have my mic connected to this camera, I can both remote monitor the feed and have wireless audio piped in. So now, like that little change makes it a significantly better content creation tool. And again, I think for anyone that's ever tried to use this for like vlogging or use it as your single video and like photo camera as a content creator, not being able to remote monitor when you have audio plugged in is a pain in the ass. All right, so we are now filming on the Leica Q3, and let's just use this as a quick test to talk about the sponsor of this video, and that is SmallRig. I'm currently using their brand new microphones on the Leica Q3 connected via USB-C. And hopefully you can also see here, I've got remote monitoring active. So this update has made a huge difference. I can control the camera. I can make sure that I'm in focus. The autofocus continuous mode on this has also been improved. So this is really a solid option for content creators. But let's talk about the microphone here. So I've got the new SmallRig mics. This comes with 2 transmitters. I've got one right here on my neck, hopefully nice and tiny that you can barely see. I've also got a second one here, and then it comes with 2 receivers. One I've got connected directly to the camera. That works with the 3.5mm jack or USB-C, and then I've got this tiny little one designed for your smartphone. It also came with one for Lightning if you've got an older iPhone, for example, but some of the specs, and again, you guys tell me how the audio quality sounds for these new mics. This whole thing is $89.99 for the entire kit. So I'm gonna quickly run you through some of the specs. And again, you guys listen to the audio quality, let me know how everything looks and sounds with the Q3 and the SmallRig mics. But this is tuned by Grammy Award winner Leica Pro tuning. So that means the microphones themselves, once you open up the app, you have 9-band EQ sound presets. So you can adjust the way your voice sounds, the way things are being recorded based on the environment, which again, pretty valuable. 70 decibels of signal to noise ratio, which again means you're just gonna capture a lot more vocals. You're also gonna capture nature and other sounds, environmental sounds more naturally. It also has a smart gain feature where it automatically adjusts the gain levels, again, to wherever you're filming. A couple of other features to call out: auto limiter, prevents audio clipping. That is a feature I have on some of my more expensive microphones from DJI, for example. So I love seeing that here on a pretty budget mic. And then of course, recording modes. You can film in mono, stereo. You can do backup tracks as well. So you can record in a lower backup volume in case you are already clipping. And also it has auto on and off. So if this is connected to your camera via the 3.5mm jack, I've got a Sony camera, I've got a Nikon that I will use this on. When you turn on the camera, the receiver turns on as well. And in terms of battery life for something this small, you get about 40 hours of total battery life. That means about 3 days of recording without charging. But again, this thing is pretty solid. Quick charging is good so far. I plugged it in for about 20 minutes and was able to get the battery level up on the charging case pretty high. And the other thing that is pretty cool, and I'll show you, is SmallRig includes all of these different colored attachments. So I can attach this to the microphone itself to color match the mic to my different shirts. So we've got white, we've got red, green, yellow, brown. So this will help it blend better into whatever outfit you're currently wearing. I just kept this black so you can at least see how small this little transmitter is when it is clipped to my shirt. Now, aside from audio quality, some of the settings that I'm currently using on my Leica Q3, hopefully you can see here, I have got the autofocus set to continuous, face, eye tracking. I have shutter speed also just set to automatic. I think it's, I don't know, 1/300 or so right now. So not the perfect motion blur, but I just wanted to turn this on and test it out quickly. I'm shooting in L-log, 24 frames per second. And then white balance, everything else is automatic. But again, the best part about it is you're getting high quality professional audio, and we can still monitor the feed because of course with the Leica Q3, we don't have a flip forward screen. So this again is really gonna turn this camera into a much more versatile and valuable content creation tool, especially for those of us that have bought this. It's an expensive camera. And yes, I love taking photographs with it and the occasional B-roll shots here and there, but being able to pop this onto a tripod and film talking head style stuff in this tiny little package adds a lot more versatility and ultimately more value for what I paid on this camera. And again, I'm pretty impressed so far. And now let's just do a quick handheld test with the latest update. Audio, I can still see whether or not I'm in focus. I can get an idea of how shaky the in-body stabilization is. But overall, I mean, this adds a lot of versatility to the Leica Q3. I can mount my phone directly to my tripod or on top of the camera so that I can see my feed while I am filming, talking head style. And because the Q3 is already a pretty small camera, this setup is smaller than my Nikon ZR or even my A7CR, for example. And since I already carry this almost daily for just photography and documenting life, the fact that now I can just toss it onto a tripod and film my talking head style stuff does add a ton of value to the camera itself. So again, you guys let me know how everything sounds, audio quality, video quality. Does autofocus stay locked on? I mean, it looks pretty clean to me, at least from the monitor. And yeah, we'll keep testing this. So in my initial testing, Autofocus improvements have been great. Continuous autofocus locks onto my face as I move. It feels natural. No more jittery focus breathing. It feels really good and very snappy. And of course, because I can monitor my feed with my phone using the Leica Photos app, I can see what's happening with me in screen, if I'm in frame, if I'm in focus. You can turn on focus peaking, which is great. I can just pop this onto a tripod and get great talking head style videos. And then of course, this thing has always been incredible for buttery, beautiful, cinematic B-roll. But now you can kind of do everything with it. And that has changed the game for the Leica Q3 going into 2026. And for me, although this does feel a little bit more like a rant of a video, now I don't feel bad throwing this into my camera bag as the only camera for the day, because I can film basically anything and everything with it. If I need to do talking head, vlogging style stuff, great audio, I can see my feed, everything's in focus. Again, improved autofocus, which is fantastic. They also added a new user experience overall, so the menu system's easier to navigate. Not that it was hard to begin with, but I'm really, really happy with the firmware update 4.0. I think Leica has really invested more in converting the Q3 into a better hybrid camera, especially because they packed such a beautiful sensor into this and so many great video features. It was like the little details that just made it almost unusable, but now that is completely fixed. Obviously, they could use more improvements, but I'm happy with where the Leica Q3 is going into 2026. And again, it feels less like a compromise carrying this. So again, this wasn't designed to be a long video. I just wanted to do a quick talk about where this camera is in 2026 and why it's gonna stay in my camera bag going into the new year, because now this really does feel more like a full-on content production tool. All right, if you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. I will catch y'all in the next one.